Hi, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I go live every Monday and Thursday at 2:30 Mountain Time with kind of a free class to show you guys how to make kind of what looks like a complicated card very easily. It's my desire that I would teach you things that takes the stress out of stamping. And today we're making this. I've called it, I've heard it called an MV card. I've heard it called a trifold card. I'm not really sure what the official name of it is, but it's a fun fold card that's really easy to make. You're going to be surprised how easy this is. So while you're online, make sure that you type in hashtag prize patrol. That's going to be your chance at winning today's card. I'm going to do a drawing at the end, and it's going to do a spin the wheel kind of thing, and whoever it picks based on those who commented with hashtag prize patrol, you're going to get today's card in the mail. Hi, Carrie. Yes, it is. It's a very good time to be creative. I love the fall. We're finally getting that cooler weather, and yeah, we're going to have some fun today. I asked you last week what you wanted to work on, and somebody suggested Dragonfly Garden, and someone else suggested the Jar of Flowers. And so I'm doing Jar of Flowers next week, and this week we're doing this one. So let's move on down to my desk and get started. Here is today's card. Like I said, it's kind of a trifold. It does make an M. It does make a V. VW. I don't know. It's just a fun fold card, and I like it. Oh, yes, you do have to spell Prize Patrol properly. Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought I spelled it wrong. I didn't, but yes. Okay. Yeah, computers are kind of picky that way. We rely on them to do things, but they want everything to be exact. So this is the card we're making. We're going to start out with a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock. This one is 11 inches by 5.5. And then I've scored it at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Okay, so, and then I folded it kind of a mountain valley, giving it that M look. Then I have a second piece of paper, and this one is 2.5 by 5, and it's scored at 2.5. So it's going to give us 2.5 squares. To go on that, I have one piece that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and one that is 2 by 2. Then on the inside of the card, I have a little piece that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and then this piece is 2 by 2. Yeah, it's a really fun stamp set, and it's quick and easy to make cards with because this bundle comes with a punch. And punches are very quick and easy for doing things in mass duplicates. This is the stamp set we're using. This piece right here is used to color in the wings of our dragonfly, and it's shaped a little funky because it fits both sides. They kind of made an artistic license, I don't know, took artistic license and made it kind of sort of fit this way and kind of sort of fit this way. So this one piece does both sides. The difference in these two is just that this one's got a darker body than this one does. But they do punch out with the same punch. And then, of course, the flowers are just, a long stem of flowers. And they look good either if you stamp them and then color them, or even if you just stamp them in a color. This card I did using this bundle. And on the inside, I stamped the flowers just in Tempting Turquoise. And I think they're beautiful as is. They don't even need to be colored. So, and then I don't know if you can tell. Probably not from this angle, but I did put a little wink of Stella on the wings. This one you may be able to tell a little better. This one I did using the bokeh technique, but then I heat embossed over it. So I used some white ink. Stampin' Up! Does sell white ink. We have this pad and it comes with a re-inker. And so this pad will be dry and then you're going to add the ink to it when you get it. But I use that ink and then I put clear embossing powder over the top. So it gives just a subtle kind of look to it. So you can see the embossing, and if you look closely at the wings, you'll see they've got Wink Stella. And it's mounted on dimensionals, so it's got a little bit of pop. And then these are just punched out, and I use the sponge dauber to color them. I just, put them on the pad or put them on the scrap paper and then just press this down on it. And then I used it along the side and the inside. I always try to do a little something with the inside of my cards because it doesn't seem finished to me. You wouldn't go down to your big box store and buy a card and have it not have an inside to it. I mean, almost never. So I kind of do the same. I almost never leave a blank inside. Sometimes it is by request. People do ask for that. But for the most part, I try to put something in there that's going to make it match the outside. So let's get started with this card. We're going to be using the Rustic Harvest DSP. And I loved this kind of flowers look. And it was 12 by 12. There were two sides that had flowers. This is the designer series paper right here. It's on page 49. And it's right here. So the flowers went up this way, and then they also came from the other direction. So if you cut it down the middle, the flowers were about 6 inches, maybe 5.5 inches tall. So you can see how it works perfectly on the front of this card. But that's the designer series paper I'm using. They are colored on one side and black and white on the back. One of the cards I made several months ago, we used our blending brushes and blended on this and showed how it could look very different colored in mint macaron or colored in Cajun craze or blushing bride. It really changed the look of the card. And then this one, of course, has just some black and white on the back of it as well, but we're going to use the flowers. I'm going to go ahead and stick those on there. Since they don't have any stamping on them, it's real easy to just go ahead and adhere them. That's one of the things I like to do first, to just take all the little pieces and assemble them so that there are not lots of little pieces floating around. Because I have the camera going, it's like, I don't know, I stumble on my words, I make mistakes on my card, I lose little pieces, just the way it is. So if we can avoid losing these pieces, we will, right? Oh, Carrie is saying that she likes how I covered up the cording on the inside. And so let me show you what that is. Darn, I lost my cursor. There we go. On this one, normally I will wrap the trim just around the designer series paper so I can bury the ends underneath the designer series paper, and then there's no need to worry about the ends fraying. This time I forgot and the frayed ends were in here, so I just used a piece of the coordinating designer series paper and put that in there. What I'm going to have as far as directions is I've started doing a set of 6. Every week I design 6 cards using that one stamp set, and then I put it on my blog as a tutorial for sale. So if you're one of my customers, I send out customer appreciation thank you PDFs. And if you request a certain one, I'm more than happy to send them out. But I kind of reserve those free tutorials for my paying customers that order through me. So if you're a paying customer, absolutely, I'd love to send it to you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a little tear and tape on the back of this. And I'm just going to put it on the very end because when we go to adhere it onto the card, only a little bit of this is going to be touching. So I can't have adhesive out here because then it would stick to itself. So we're just going to leave it in there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of place this about where I think it is in the middle. I close that one and then close this one. Okay, and then I dry embossed this piece, a little bit of a glare, with the bricks and mortar embossing folder. I thought that would make a good background for our dragonfly. On this other one, I used the fern. So I don't know if I can hold that the right angle. See, so it's kind of setting on fern leaves. But I just thought giving it a little bit of texture was helpful. I'm going to put one of my 2x2s on the back of here. And I suppose it could have been 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Oh, and I guess I should stamp. I always tell you guys we want to stamp before adhering because in case there's a boo-boo, we want to be able to flip it over and stamp on the other side. So I'm going to grab my inside sentiment. It says, "May good things grow all year long." And then I'm going to bring in my old olive ink. I recently inked it, so I'm getting that halo around the outside. So it may be worth it to come back in and just kind of use the edge of, this is our Simply Chamois. And the Simply Chamois is a great way to clean our rubber stamps, especially the photopolymer ones, and all it needs is water. I'm lining the paper up on my grids and then trying to line this up on the grid. And if I use that on everything, the theory is it's all going to be straight. Looks pretty good. Okay. Okay. Guess we're doing this one first. The way I lined this up to make sure it would be hidden behind there is I'm just kind of holding it with my fingers, and then I'm going to close the card, and that'll make the adhesive stick right there, and it hides it perfectly behind these squares. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and stamp our dragonfly. I'm going to bring in another block and some scrap paper. And you kind of want to pay attention when you're stamping things that you want to punch out. I'm going to be pushing the paper in this direction, which means I want the tip of his tail up here. I mean, it'll work the other way, but you'll need to cut it off and maybe use some Post-it note to hold on to it. But if I put the tail where it's going to go as far as being punched out, then I don't have to worry about it. It's just going to slide right in there and perfectly align. And I always look from the back side and line it up so that I can tell that it's going to punch out properly. This was what I had on the other card that I had just used the sponge dauber to ink that up. And then for my front butterfly, I'm going to use some Wink of Stella on his wings, because wings are usually a little wet and have that glossy look to them. Yeah, the cutting the chamois down, somebody's mentioning that. I did that because I use it on my Stamparatus all the time. And when it was the full size, it was hitting the pads or the plates on my Stamparatus where I didn't want it to. So using the smaller pieces made it a whole lot easier on the Stamparatus, as does using the smaller ink pads. Stampin' Up! Does sell one small set of, I think it's bright colored 1-inch square ink pads. They're great for the Stamparatus. And they also sell them blank, so you could get an empty one and fill it with your own re-inker. But the little 1-inch squares are great for that. I'm going to come in with some mini dimensionals. If you don't have minis, you probably would want to do the other ones, maybe cut them in half if you want them out on the edge, or stick them closer into or towards the center of the body. But I love that the little ones allow me to put it all the way out there on the wings. And there we go. If I wanted to stick this one on here, I'd probably use a glue dot. I think it'd go there, right? So that's today's card. What do you think? Anybody going to try this one? And I do have, like I said, 2 more cards done with the Dragonfly. I could do either one of these on Thursday, or I can come up with something different. These are both fairly easy. I feel like they don't really need instruction. This one I used our stylish shapes dies, so it gets the stitching in there. And just when I laid it on my cardstock, I let the circle hang off the edge, and then I used a slightly larger one on the DSP. Like I said, this one I masked off top and bottom, used my blending brushes, and then did the bokeh technique. But I do have some other fun fold ideas hidden away that we could also use. There's lots of stamp sets you could use with this design. I mean, even the gnome could stand in the middle here. It'd be a little tall, but, you know, it could go there. The hedgehog fits. The pumpkin would look good there. I mean, I'm just looking up at my stamp set up there. The squirrel, flowers, the cherries, the bird. There's so many things this can be used with. It's pretty awesome. So I have 8 people in our prize patrol drawing, and I'm about ready to spin. Has everybody typed in #prize patrol? Because I'm getting ready to spin and see who our winner is. There we go. There you go. Gloria is today's winner. Congratulations, Gloria. Don't forget to head on over to my blog and type in the URL up at the top. Once you go there to queenbeecreations.net, you want to go into the URL bar and put in /prize patrol. That takes you to my Google form, which is where I keep track of who won and which ones I've mailed out. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And I will be back on Thursday with another card using the Dragonfly Garden. In the meantime, if you have any questions whatsoever or need help picking out Stampin' Up! Supplies or using some that you've already purchased, that's what I'm here for. Thank you so much. Have a great day.